Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Thinning of the Veil podcast. I'm your host, Tia Smith, and we are at episode number 33. It's kind of crazy, but this is another how-to video to help you when you receive those revelatory thinning of the veil experiences, how you actually find, like I did with Sarah Jane DeGear in my last podcast, how do you find families? And thankfully, they've made it a lot easier on all of us to try to do this work for those lay members who are not professional genealogists. So today is going to be a video on how to utilize the hints in your Familysearch app account and in your online account as well. So me being a person that needs step-by-step instructions, I was so excited yesterday when I figured out how to do playlists, and I've been trying to figure that out for 2 or 3 days. Seems like no one was speaking my language when I Googled it, meaning like their instructions weren't clear to me. So I finally, late last night, was able to find one that was clear and make a playlist. So this podcast is a line upon line thing. So I have made a couple playlists. What I did was make a how-to playlist so that you don't have to sort through all the videos to find all of the how-to videos. I only linked the video and not the podcast version just because I believe that the how-to videos are so much more helpful when you view them. So either you can view them on Spotify or follow the link in every description of the podcast because there is a YouTube link to the video version. And how you know when you're on YouTube, if you are on the video version, is if the thumbnail fills up the full screen. If you're only seeing the thumbnail fill up half the screen, then you're on the podcast version, which is listening only. So 2 different ways to recognize it. Either look in my descriptions or check the description out in every single video because I've linked that there as well. And then I will also, at the end of this video and in this video, link the podcast ability, the playlist ability. Is that clear as mud? Hope that is. Okay, so what we're going to do is, and the other, I guess, playlist that I've made is just the playlist of the Ancestors Plea experience with Rob and Becca so that those 2 are together. So again, you don't have to sort through all the videos. So we're going to jump right into it. All right, like I said, I'm going to be talking about the hints found on Familysearch, and this is just Familysearch for right now. First thing you want to do is recognize the icon of what the hints look like. So every time in Familysearch, you see a blue circle with like a piece of paper with a folded corner and a person. That is the record hints. Now make sure in your options in your family tree that you toggle that toggle to the right. So when you go in and see and you look at all of what the different icons mean, you want to make sure that you're toggled to the right on everything in the beginning. And then I would say go in and untoggle them as you go and as you get better if that's what you want. But I just leave mine all toggled on at this, because I don't want to miss anything. But what we're specifically looking for today is the blue circle icon with the paper and the person in it. So just start doing that. Just make sure that that toggle is pushed to the right so that you can see record hints attached to people. Because if you don't, you're not going to see blue circles anywhere. All right, I'm going to read to you from Familysearch Newsroom, an article dated December 10th, 2024. New historical records on Familysearch, June 15th, 2024. Familysearch, now listen to these numbers, added 40 million residents' records to the U.S. living persons database, 1 million for the U.S. Genealogy Bank, and thousands for collections worldwide. Okay, so here's the next article. New free historical records from 49 countries dated December 24th, update. Familysearch has expanded its free online archives in March 22 with over, listen to this number, 64 million new indexed family history records from all over the world. Okay, are you starting these like 40 million, 1 million, 64 million? Now listen to this one. New historical records on Familysearch, June 8th, 2024. Familysearch added 80 million records to the U.S. living persons database and collections from Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Indonesia, Ireland, Zimbabwe, and elsewhere. So first of all, before any of you start saying my work is all done, those numbers say that's not correct. Just because your family tree looks a certain way one day does not mean that it's going to look even the next day the same. Familysearch is constantly updating not only its records, but people available in the tree to do on a month-by-month basis. So we can no longer say anymore, my work is all done. Let's just be clear, it will never be done to the end of the millennium. So be aware of that and move forward with this new excitement of, hey, I can start learning how to research. I don't have to be like a professional genealogist to do these things, because Familysearch is making it easier and easier. More easy than when I started doing it, for sure. And again, it's just pushing the button. We just have to get good. Who knew Gathering Israel was all going to be all about pushing buttons? But that's where we sit. All right, what I wanted to show you was how to do it on a cell phone first, and then I'm going to show you how to do it on the computer, and because the computer will help make more sense later, and it will bring everything together. So option number one, because there's a couple options you can do it on your cell phone. Now, I tend to do it on my computer. I don't know if that's like an old person thing or what, but that's what I tend to do. Young people probably are super good at doing it on their phones. But just in case you're sitting in the doctor's office, you can tell I do this a lot, and are making good use of your time, you can actually do this while you're sitting there. So option number one is how to find hints on your cell phone. Okay, step one. We're going to log into the Familysearch app and locate the tasks button. Now, the task button is down on the bottom, kind of leftish, and you'll see tasks when you first log in. So you're going to push that button. And then step two is to locate the task opportunities that need to be completed for your ancestors and push the hint button. Okay, so you're looking for the detail hint button, the records hint, that there is a record that could, being the operative word, be attached to your family member. So you click on tasks, and then I've decided to click on Emily Roberts. She is an ancestor of mine that has a hint that possibly could be connected to her. And so I'm going to push that blue hint that's next to Emily Roberts. Remember, it's a blue circle with a paper and a person in the middle. So after you click on that button next to Emily Roberts, step three is choosing which one of those hints you want to evaluate and click on that one. So Emily Roberts only has one hint available right now to look at. So I'm going to click on the United States obituary records. So you find the record and then you click on the record. The next step, number 4, is to evaluate the record opportunity to make sure that this is the correct person you want to attach this record to. Because sometimes hints, based on the algorithm and everything else, can be attached to the wrong person. Again, please don't let this stress you out. All hints can be detached at any point in time, but you're going to evaluate whether this obituary record has to do with Emily Roberts' family. And as you identify the similarities between her and the records, then the next step would be, step number 5 is to click down at the bottom at the compare button. So you're pretty sure by now that this is the right hint to attach to Emily Roberts. You click compare. And then after evaluating the information and making sure it's correct, you click yes, attach button. So that is the very first simple way. If you're bored, you click on tasks just to see. Well, you can choose whatever task you want to do, but for this particular podcast, we are choosing to look at the hint section. So you click on tasks, you choose the person that you want to look at with the hint attached, then you choose the hint that you want to look at and evaluate. Then after you've decided that it is the correct hint applying to the person that you're looking at, then you just click compare and then yes, attach. Now that it does something else, what it does is it provides another source to validate this person and all of the information in the record. It will also add family members into the tree, but I'm going to show you how to do that on the computer. But that's the cool thing about hints. Okay, now we're going to go to option number 2. So then we've just clicked randomly the tasks button, not knowing who's going to pull up, and it's just kind of like surprise. But now we want to find out if we want to look at a particular person, how we do that. So how to find hints on your cell phone, option number 2. Step 1, locate the recents button. So let's say you've been working on the tree and you're really being drawn to someone in particular. If you've already worked on them in the tree, then you can pull them up in the recent button. So let's say I've been working on Elizabeth Muehlhausen's line and I want to see if there's any records to attach. So what I'm going to do is when I log in, instead of going to the task button, I'm going to the recent button, which is the bottom right-hand corner of your cell phone screen. Step number 2 will be locate the ancestor that you would like to access the hints on and click on that name. So I want to find hints on Elizabeth Muehlhausen. She's the one I'm drawn to. So you click on that name. Step number 3, after you click on that name, is to click the hint button. So now you're on the person page for Elizabeth Muehlhausen. You're going to click the hint button that is located above on the top, right next to the female or the male picture. So it's right above her name, Elizabeth Muehlhausen. You'll see the blue hint button. So you click on that. It will pull up the records. So she has a county marriage record and also a Missouri marriage record. So you can choose between one of those records. And remember, this is just for Elizabeth Muehlhausen. And then step number 5 would be, again, evaluate and click and then compare and attach. So compare and attach is the exact same throughout this whole scenario, the cell phone scenario. It's just how you're accessing. First tasks is just a random. This option 2 is like, I want to find someone specific that I've been currently working on and see if there's any steps attached. So you're going to click the recent button, find Elizabeth Muehlhausen or whoever you're working on, click on their name, and then up will pull the hints on the top of the page next to her name. And then you just go through the process, compare and attach. Now, let's say you want to find Elizabeth Muehlhausen's ancestors or descendants with hints attached. So let's say not only you want to find Elizabeth Muehlhausen's hints, you also want to see if there's any of her descendants that have hints attached to them. So how do you do that? So you follow the previous steps, click recent, find Elizabeth Muehlhausen, click on her person page, but instead of clicking on the hint button, this time you're going to click on the 3 dots in the top right-hand side. And what that's going to do is it will pull up options. You can either view the relationship, you can either search records, do possible duplicates, or you can view descendants with tasks and view this tree. So there's 2 ways. So you follow the previous steps, you get to her person page, you select the 3 dots, and then you're going to click either the descendants with tasks or view this tree. So if you click on the tree view and want to locate the hints that way, it will bring up the tree view and all of her descendants with hints will have blue circles underneath, and that's how you access the hints from there. And then you just review and attach like you have done before. Now, if you didn't click the tree and you decided to click descendancy with tasks, then it will bring up all of her descendants, not on a tree view, but in a line that have the hint button. And then you're going to click on those hints. So Elizabeth Muehlhausen for 3 generations, and you can change that, how many generations up in the toggle. Louis John Sheeler has a hint. Elizabeth has a hint. Elise Sheeler, Louis J. Sheeler, Gustavi Sheeler. So these are all of her descendants that have hints. And then you would just look at those hints, evaluate, and then attach that way. Okay, this is the last way. So you're going to log onto your Familysearch app, just like we've done before, but instead of clicking tasks or recents this time, you're going to click more. Because let's say you haven't visited this person, but you want to find this person. So in the more button, you're going to want to locate, after you push it, find a person. Okay? So after you click find a person, it's going to ask you to fill in the name of your ancestor that you're looking for. So we're just going to click in Elizabeth Muehlhausen again. We're going to type in that name and click find. And then the results will bring up all of our ancestors, or all of the people in the tree that possibly are Elizabeth Muehlhausen. Once you locate the one that you're looking for, you click on her name, Elizabeth Muehlhausen. And then you follow the steps previous to that. So you're going to locate the hints button on the ancestors person page and click that, and then go through it that way. So you can either access hints by the taskbar button, which is an overall just see who has tasks. The second option is to locate it through recent if you have been working on them quite frequently, and access it that way, the tasks. Or the option number 3 is, I feel like I want to look at this person. I haven't looked at them recently, so I'm going to just find a person in the more button and then go and research the hints that way. So again, this is sitting on your cell phone, doing it on your cell phone. I will show you why now the way that I do it on the computer, because I don't know if I need a bigger screen with more information available to me all at the same time. It just seems for my brain to work better that way. All right. We've gone to familysearch.org and we've logged in to our computer, and we come to the options of where we want to look at. And what I like to do is go to the Family Tree app, and then just like we did on Family Tree button, and just like we did in the cell phone, I'm going to click recents. And again, if you want to find a person like we did on the cell phone, the find button is right next to recents. But for this particular person, or this particular episode, I'm going to show through recents. So we've been looking into Elizabeth Muehlhausen. So I'm in the recent page. I'm just going to click on this view tree button right next to her name. And it's going to pull up her tree. And you can instantly see all of the hints that are on every single one of our children. Now, like I said before, this is important because it fills out the sources and it gives more believability and less opportunity for people to change it the more sources are attached. The other cool thing with hints, let's say you are feeling strongly that you need to look at Elizabeth Muehlhausen's line, like there's something missing and you're not quite sure. Well, it's okay if you don't know if you're not a professional researcher, because these hints kind of make you a professional researcher in like 10 seconds. And let me show you why, because it starts filling out the tree pretty quickly if there's hints attached. So let's go down to Edna F. Sheeler, which is a daughter of Elizabeth Muehlhausen. She has a hint record that is possibly hers. So we're going to click on that record. So when we click on that record, we're seeing that Edna does not have a spouse listed, right? So when we click on the records, immediately we can see that there is a husband, because in Find a Grave, it lists her as Edna F. Sheeler Hungate. Okay. But what I want to do is go down and look at one of these marriage records, because that's what we're looking for. We had the prompting to go help Elizabeth with her family. We noticed that Edna does not have a spouse attached, but there is a hint opportunity. So we're going to click on this Edna F. Sheeler marriage record. So this is the record, and it brings up the name James Bruce Hungate. He's a male. The spouse's name is Edna F. Sheeler. So immediately we're seeing consistency in, yes, this is the person that this hint is attached to is correct. So immediately I can tell this is correct. All I do is push this review and attach button. Now it's important to do that. Let me show you why. Okay, it will bring you to this screen where on the left-hand side of the screen is the record, the hint record, the Missouri County marriage record. On the right of the screen is your ancestor. And it's asking you to evaluate the information in both. It's asking you to review it. So Edna F. Sheeler and Edna F. Sheeler, they're the same. It says different, but it's just because of the period after F. So everything so far is lining up. I'm thinking I'm okay to attach it. So add a reasoning for attaching the source. I'll just put marriage record and then click attach. So now that is listed as a source for Edna Sheeler. Okay. Now the cool thing you'll notice is right below that, instead of attach on James Bruce Hungate, you will see the add button. And this is the coolest part of the hints. So when I click the add button, it will automatically populate James Bruce Hungate, that he's male, and then it will populate the marriage record. We have to click deceased, and they want to make sure that he is deceased, and we are pretty sure that he is deceased. And then you're going to create the new person. And then you're going to add that marriage record to him as a source and click attach. Okay, so let me show you what just happened in the tree, because you just did that. So let's go back to Elizabeth Muehlhausen. We're going to exit back out, and we're going to refresh the tree. You see what just happened? Edna F. Sheeler, who didn't have a husband, now has a husband, and the husband's work is available to do. And what popped up is more hints for him, so you can fill out like his birth date. Now, the cool thing is, remember in the previous podcast of the how-to videos, I showed you how to access Find a Grave. And remember why I said to go, we're going to click on this really quick. Remember when I said click on the view Find a Grave instead of just looking at the Find a Grave record? Because it will give you his birth is February 27th, 1890. That's the same birth as my dad. That's super cool. And his death was January 24th, 1967 at the age of 76. So we know this information now, where we didn't even know that Edna had a husband, and we didn't know who he was, and we didn't know his birth and death record. So now we've created a new person with all of this information within the span of less than 5 minutes. That's how cool hints are. So let's go back to, and then you would go through and attach all of those hints. It's kind of addictive a little bit. What I wanted to show you then is another place. Let's say we're still, okay, you're not done. You're getting the prompting, not done working on Elizabeth Muehlhausen. Let's go evaluate some of these other ones. Let's look at Theodore F. Sheeler, another son. Right now it says he doesn't have a spouse. So we can see here that there are census records. The good thing about census records is that it gives you a ton of information. Now, the interesting thing about this census record is it says that he's widowed. So we know that he was married, but obviously it doesn't list his wife in this because he is widowed at this point. So you'd review and attach that. But if you go back to his other hints, the World War I draft registration card, it shows in that particular record that Clemmy Sheeler was his wife at the time, and it says that in the record. So you could put Clemmy in as his wife. Now, in 1930, though, we know he has been widowed. So now we find a second wife called Laura B. So you could add both of those in, review and attach, right? Review and attach. We're going to evaluate that. We're going to add all of the information over that it says to add. We're going to say reason to attach source, census record. Click attach. And then it gives you the option to add Laura B as his wife. And now it's bringing up a possibility that there are two Theodore Sheelers and that you can evaluate both of them, or you can create a new person. And that's for another podcast. So if you get to this point and you're confused, just click cancel and back out. And again, I'll review how to do that in another podcast. Okay, one more situation. Let's go up here to Lewis J. Sheeler and Lena E. Cohen Sheeler. Okay, so there's a hint attached to Lewis's wife. Right now, they don't have any children. So says the tree. So we're going to click on the hints attached to Lena Cohen. And the first one we can see that the father's name is Louis Schiller or Louis Schiller. So all of the information is matching. So let's review and attach that because this is actually the birth of a son for them. All right. We can see that the names are similar, a little bit different, but very similar, which is totally fine. We're going to put birth record of son as reason to attach source. We're going to attach it to the mom. Now it's giving us an opportunity to attach to the father, Louis Sheeler, which again is Elizabeth's son. So the reason to attach is the birth record of the son. Now this add button right here is awesome because all you do is click add and then you say, okay, is this the same person? And you would have to go and see if that is the same person. It looks like it might be. So you'd either click select if you think it's the right son, and then you'd have to resolve the duplicates. And again, we'll go over that in a different one, but you can see how fast you can resolve family situations just by clicking on the hint button. So that's pretty cool. And then if you go down and you say, okay, what's this next one? Oh, there's a female that was born. So you can just add her in too as well if she's not already in there. So you can see why hints matter. And it's really important, even if it doesn't create a new person, it's still important to evaluate and attach the hints because it creates a person that's more well-rounded and because the more information, the better in Familysearch. So you can see literally again how it's just pushing the button. thank goodness that Familysearch is making it easier for us lay members to be able to be a researcher and a completer of family units just by pushing a button. The Lord is truly, truly hastening his work. And I invite you this week to go and start getting familiar with the hints. Now, just FYI, not every single hint is attached to the right person or is a possibility to attach to that person. So just make the best decision that you can, again, knowing that nothing is permanent in here. Hopefully this will give you more confidence in going and continuing and asking the Lord who needs help on the other side of the veil. And now you can start to understand how to fill in those empty spaces in the tree. You and I will be made capable to do the work if we just start moving forward. Get really familiar with it. And also thank Heavenly Father for his furthering of accelerated work, because this truly is remarkable. When I was trying to find records for Sarah Jane DeGear, it was exhausting and overwhelming, but the Lord even helped us back then. So go this week, my friends, and get familiar with hints. Start looking for those places where you can fill in the empty holes. Keep asking Heavenly Father who needs help on the other side of the veil. Keep expecting to have thinning of the veil experiences, and then please obey and follow those promptings when you get them. And again, you can always reach out to family history consultants in your ward and in your stake, and go to the family history libraries. That's what they are set up for. I am grateful to have the opportunity to participate in these latter days, and I've gotten way better as I've gone along. I am not saying that I am a professional by any stretch of the imagination, but Heavenly Father takes my half of fish and half of bread and expands my ability to be able to do this work. So thank you for joining me. Remember that I have put all the how-to videos in a playlist available on my YouTube channel if you subscribe, and I will also include it at the end of this video to click on if you need to in the video descriptions. And again, all of these details, if you're feeling overwhelmed with the details, go back and listen to the Ancestors Please song that came out from Becca Sorensen, and listen to the Thinning of the Veil experience that came from that song came from through Becca Sorensen and Rob Ferguson. Because really that's what it's all about. And if you start getting frustrated, those are good pick-me-ups to take another deep breath and to dive back in. Next week, we'll be talking about the great day of the Lord, second coming on glory, and it will be a part 1, part 2. And hopefully your Christmas is happy and not stressful. And again, just a reminder to sign up for Ritz Tech. Thanks for joining me again for another how-to video, and we'll talk to you soon, my friends. Have a great week. Bye.